It's unbelievable. Look at the angles.
Hey guys, I'm watching Conor McGregor.
Going forwards, he can fight going backwards. Look at that uppercut.
Whoa, he's dead. Oh, I want to be like him. Nobody believes me that I box. I go to boxing with Jennifer at 7 o'clock. Nobody believes me. Only my brother, don't you believe me? Yeah, see, he believes me. Guys, if you believe me, comment below. Say, I believe you. Comment below. Nobody believes me. Yeah. Oh! Oh! Okay, I'm go. Who likes GTA? I want to watch GTA. Oh my god! Look at this one, guys. Oh!
Introducing the Apache Pizza Premium Range. 5 new mouth-watering premium pizzas with amazing toppings.
Hello everybody. Tell us, please, are you a fight lover? Today we're going to talk about fights, and more specifically about mixed martial arts, known as MMA. This is a relatively new sport that has become more and more popular over the years. Each fight is different. Some are very exciting, while others end with a quick victory of one of the participants over his opponent. But the best fights are those involving the Titans, huge fighters who at first sight could defeat any opponent. Do you want to take a look at them? Well, here we have the 10 biggest MMA fighters. Let's get it on. Hong-Man Choi, the Korean monster, the Techno Goliath, the Korean Colossus. These are some of the names of Hong-Man Choi, a North Korean sportsman, kickboxer, MMA fighter, and belt wrestler in his country. Take a look. Huge, right? But having such height is not easy. This fighter suffers from acromegaly, a disease that causes some of the parts of the body to never stop growing. With a height of 7.15 feet and a weight of 365 pounds, Choi is one of the largest wrestling athletes in the world. And here we have some interesting facts about this man. The giant played the main character in a Korean film. In addition, in April 2008, he was called to the Korean army to serve 26 months in the army. However, after failing 2 medical examinations, he was released from his military duty. But the main reason was not his disease, but a vision problem caused by a tumor in the brain. But seeing him fight, it looks as if he doesn't have any health problems. Giant Silva.
Come on.
Paulo Cesar da Silva, known as the Giant Silva, is a Brazilian fighter, 7.18 feet high and 385 pounds. Initially, Silva was a basketball player, and he even got to participate in the Olympic with his country's team. He was also a famous Sao Paulo player in his country. In the Olympics, he wasn't in the main team, but he still played in 4 games. In the 1990s, Silva changed his image, letting his hair grow and joining the American Wrestling Association, or WWE, where he became famous as the tallest fighter in history.
He looks like a girl right now.
And finally, in 2003, Silva decided to debut in the MMA competitions, and it was a huge mistake. He was very famous, and that allowed the giant to fight from the start against very experienced opponents. And what followed next was a circus. Everyone was laughing at this giant who didn't have the technique to fight in MMA. Silva got hit in the knees, suffocated, overturned, and mistreated in all possible positions. The giant tried to defend using his big hands, but he only managed to withstand 8 battles. After this, Paulo decided to return to the WWE, a quite reasonable decision. Chad Rowan. Chad Rowan, better known as Akibono Taro, is a successful sumo fighter and professional wrestler with a height of 6.6 feet and an incredible weight of 496 pounds. This Hawaiian became famous for being the first non-Japanese person to receive the rank of Great Champion in sumo. The fights between him and the brothers Takanohana and Wakanohana increased the popularity of sumo in the late 80s and early 90s, but at the end of his brilliant career as a sumo fighter, Chad suffered some financial problems that forced him to seek a solution. Rowan decided to earn a few dollars by participating in the MMA and the K1, but unfortunately he failed. But the fights in which he participated were a must-see. Check it out. Emmanuel Yarbrough. This giant began as a professional sumo wrestler and then participated in fights of judo, wrestling, and even in American football. Yarbrough entered the Guinness World Records for being the heaviest sportsman in history. His total weight is 600 pounds, with a height of 6.6 feet. In 1995, this American fighter won the Sumo World Championship. After ending his career, Yarbrough became the ambassador of sumo in the USA. In addition to participating in several films. In the early 90s, Yarbrough was named the best sumo wrestler in the world, but he wanted to keep fighting, so he decided to participate in the MMA. His debut in the UFC, however, was a failure. In his short career in the MMA, Emmanuel took part in 3 fights, winning one of them by crushing the opponent to the ground and forcing him to surrender. Do nothing and win. Quite an achievement. In our opinion, this fighter relies more on his physical characteristics than on his technique. Alexandru Lungu. Meet Alexandru Lungu, a famous Romanian boxer and judo fighter who also during his career in the MMA, Semi managed to participate in losing. But the fact that a rookie could compete with the best Pride FC fighter made him famous among fans of this sport. Although Sapp had some flaws in his technique, he defeats his rivals to you as fast as we can.
You sent me. It might as well be the moon. Thanks. This place is weird.
celebrating McGregor Columbus' birthday. He's 76 years old. Just like 52 years ago, we're still working out together, having fun together, playing chess together, eating together, schmoozing together, traveling together, everything together. Look at this. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Nothing changed, no. Only improved.
Well, that was a good one. I'll tell you, there's nothing like working up a good sweat. So please stay tuned. Next week, I'm going to go into my treasure trove and come out with how to eat healthy when you're dead.
Skiing. I think it's very important to have powerful legs. Oh yes, I hate chicken legs. Hate chicken legs. Rule number one. The beach is right over there. Feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for. All is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. And all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Guys, I have to end this. Sorry, but I'll do Theft Wars